Welcome to the National Women's Fitness Academy podcast. We're here to talk about women's health, female hormones, body image, and all things health and fitness.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Women's Fitness Academy podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ellen, a binge and body image coach, as well as an educator and obviously host for Women's Fitness Academy. And today I am here with a good friend of mine who's actually living in my apartment in Bondi. She's someone that I know from living in Newcastle. She is an ambassador for us for Women's Fitness Academy, and she's studying with us at the moment. She has already done her PT certificate, and she's also an amazing photographer and just an all-round, just amazing human who just lifts women up. So Lauren, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first ever podcast. So
I'm sure there'll be plenty more once you finish your degree and everything. Like your Instagram has had, we were just talking about this before, that your Instagram has just had such a glow up lately. It's always been aesthetically pleasing, but now it's so much female empowerment and so much good education on there, and just you can really tell that you're really passionate about what you're doing and empowering women. And I really love that about your page.
Yes, 100%. That's definitely been a big focus for me recently. Is getting all the content going, getting ready to finish my studies. And just putting all the positive stuff out there.
100%. And girls, if you are studying with us, start posting now. Don't wait until you qualify. You can still post what you learn, you can still post what you're about, and build your brand, build that community before you actually start taking clients. Obviously don't give out meal plans and stuff like that, but
yes, 100%.
Definitely. So with your journey into fitness, how did you start? Obviously you are already a qualified personal trainer. How did it all start for you?
So my journey started when I was quite young. So I think the first time I started training in a gym, I was 14 or 15. I was quite young, and I fell in love with it pretty much straight away. But I went through a lot of different phases before I've kind of come to the place that I'm at with it now. So did you ever have a Tumblr?
A what?
A Tumblr? It's sort of a MySpace blog type account.
Oh no! Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Cheer lately. The Netflix TV show.
Yes, I've seen that.
I was Tumblr. Do you mean doing backflips and stuff?
Oh. No, it was back when I was in high school. It was a form of social media.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm probably too old for that.
Yeah. So in my time in high school, it was a pretty big thing, along with all of my friends. So that kind of kick-started my journey. And it started off quite positive and healthy. It had different types of accounts you could follow. So there was Fitspo, Hipster, all these different accounts.
Wow.
So I found the Fitspo world of Tumblr and got pretty into that. But trigger warning, there was a lot of other sides to the website where there was anorexia pages, eating disorder pages that were quite deep. They were literally making posts teaching you how to have an ED. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. So I started looking at all of those pages, and that kind of became quite young, that's what I was consuming. That was how I kind of got through it. And I remember being at the gym, and personal trainers would always approach me because I was at a commercial gym, and I was I was so confident. I was I want to lose weight, that's my goal. And love this trainer, I don't even remember her name, but she sent me home with a letter to my mum being I'm concerned about this. She does not need to lose weight. This is crazy. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is awesome. I look back at it now and I'm good on her. Like that was just
100%. Oh, I wish you knew her name so we could like reach out and be like, fuck yes, this is what you should be doing. Like literally what you should be doing. 100%.
100%. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I needed to be sent home.
Did you know what it said in the letter?
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure like I read it obviously. And it was pretty much just saying like, hey, like Lauren's approached me at the gym, that she wants to lose weight. I'm kind of worried about this. She obviously doesn't need to lose weight.
Oh my God. That's crazy. I can't believe that there are people like that out there. I mean, that's amazing. And I think it is our duty as professionals to look out for these things and to look out for red flags and, make sure we nip it in the bud before it gets that to the point of an eating disorder. So that's fucking amazing that she did that. So what did you do at this point? Were you like, fuck you, I'm still gonna lose weight? Or were you like, nah, that's probably true?
Yeah, I was kind of just in my own world at this point. I guess it didn't really matter. I had all the resources I needed on Tumblr, right? There was like recipes, workouts, all this information. I was like, thought I was all good doing it on my own, which I was not. So yeah, that was how my journey started. So it was a bit of a rough start, and I went through, some pretty disordered eating habits and unhealthy relationship with my body at such a young age as well, which is so sad. Like I think about young people now with social media. And that's why I think it's so important, like as an online coach or aspiring online coach to, post content that like is inspiring people that, the healthy way, like it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. But when you were in that kind of mindset of wanting to lose weight and, you had Tumblr there and you had all this advice for how to get as skinny as possible, how did you break that cycle?
So over time, I sort of phased out of it a little bit because I kept kind of growing through the gym and I kept bouncing off like different trainers. And then as I got older, I guess my priorities kind of changed. And that's when I started, I turned 18, I started going out and I was drinking and stuff. So I started to find better information. So I guess I just started educating myself. And then from there was when I competed in my first bikini show, which really inspired me to become a personal trainer.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah. So I felt like that really like pulled me out of that disordered eating pattern that I was in. There's lots of thunder here.
Wow. Because we hear so much about that. Like for me, for example, it had the opposite effect, right? So for me, it kind of just triggered all my old behaviors even more. So it's so interesting that it actually triggered you to become healthier and to do something that's actually going to make you feel better. And start with your studies. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, I had a really good experience with competing, although I look back on it now, and because like I was 19 when I jumped on stage, so I was very young, and I look back now and I don't feel like I did it in the best way. Like I was very skinny and there was no building phase, which I look back on now and I'm like, oh my God, so stressful. But at the time it was something that was really positive for me. Like I found it to be quite like a spiritual experience. I was able to really just like connect with myself and my passions, and then come out the other end and was just super motivated to get into the gym, be a trainer, help women. And then, that's how it all started.
Wow, amazing. So then you're a personal trainer. How long did you do that for?
I've been a PT for maybe like 4 or 5 years now, I think. I'm not really sure. But I've worked in heaps of different gyms, like mostly group training, done some one-on-one training, and I used to have my own little boot camp business.
Love that.
The area that I lived in, which was awesome, which was so much fun. I loved it. It was my pride and joy.
Yeah, and it's such a good thing to have to be able to combine with nutrition as well. And like even if you don't, like I don't do any training programs for people, but it's good to have the understanding of what happens in your body and what the clients are going through and what's important for muscle building. And if they're feeling a bit shitty, you can ask about their workouts and stuff like that. And so I think it is really important to at least understand the impact training has and how important it is to have that healthy and active lifestyle.
Yes.
And then you got into photography. That you haven't been doing that for that long, right?
On and off for like a couple of years. More just like a little love job, I call it. So just like something that I do on the side. But yeah, I got into that simply because when I first started doing photo shoots and stuff, it felt like it was a bit of a thing in Newcastle. I don't know if you felt this as well, where there was just like a lot of amateur male, specifically photographers, just always reaching out to girls who posted a lot on Instagram if they want to do a photo shoot.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was for a while.
It was a lot. I know. I've never done that many free photo shoots as I did when I lived in Newcastle.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I did a few of them, and like I met some amazing photographers who I think are incredible, and I still would shoot with them now. But I also had some kind of weird experiences that just nothing terrible happened, nothing bad happened. They just felt icky, and I just felt like this could be such an awesome experience for someone. And I want to create that. And also I felt this pressure back then where I was like, well, I don't have a reason to do a photo shoot. Like I felt like I had to justify it. I was like, well, why do I need to do this? And like, really, I just wanted like nice photos of myself. I just wanted to feel confident. And I was like, what's wrong with that? So that's kind of how it started, that I saw like kind of a hole in the market that I knew I could fill, where I was like, I want this to be an experience that like helps women feel powerful. Like you don't need a reason to do it. You just need to just do it, like for confidence, just to feel sexy, empowered. So yeah, that's how that started.
Oh yes, I love that. And like honest, I've shot with you twice, I think now. Is it twice or 3 times? Oh, 3 times, I think.
3 times actually.
Yeah, 3 times. Because I think the first one was like when you first started.
Yeah, you're one of my first models.
Oh, was I? There you go. And like I like the first photos you took as well, but like you can really see like how you evolved as a photographer. Like the last photos I have, like they're just like sometimes I even look at them sometimes and I'm like, wow, can't believe that's me.
I love that, and that's why I do it, like just so that people can feel that, like have something to look back on and be like, yes, I look hot, like yeah.
I'm a sexy bitch. Yeah, and I like the worst. Anyone who's done a photo shoot knows that it is fucking the worst thing when the photographer just stands and they have the camera and they don't say anything. They're just like, yep, you can start. And you're like, what do I do? And then like they don't say anything if it looks good. And he's like, snap. Okay, next outfit. Like it's, oh my God, it is the worst thing ever. And that's what
the worst. It is so uncomfortable as well. And then you look back on the photos and you're like, I look awkward. Like if you told me to like or move, or if you just made the vibe a little bit more free and open, it would have just been so much nicer.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I really like about like shooting with you, because like from the moment like you meet, it's like, you're obviously this bundle of joy and just have so much energy. So then when you like get behind the camera, it's like, yes, go girl, you look amazing. You look so sexy. Like, I feel like I could have just gone naked and just be like, yes, like keep going. Like, I wouldn't have felt awkward at all. Which is like, I think that's the biggest thing for photographers. And especially like you said, like for people who are not fitness models, who are not professional models. Like if you're just like the average, normal, everyday person and you want to take nice photos, you need to go to someone like yourself, because being comfortable in front of the camera is key. Like if you're not comfortable, it will show.
Yeah, 100%. And like you don't want to, it can become such an icky experience if you're not comfortable. Like you want it to be empowering, you want it to feel fun. And that's always my favorite thing, like because I have done a lot of shoots with girls and it's like their first time, or not like professional, which is exactly what I'm here for. And I guess they start the shoot a little bit nervous, and then by the end of it I'm like, show them the camera and then they're like, oh, I actually, I like that. That looks good. And then
Yeah.
by the end, they're so confident and like suggesting poses. And I'm like, yes, queen, this is perfect.
I love that. I love that so
My
much.
favorite thing ever. Like, honestly, I love it.
Yeah, no, and it shows as well. It really shows, and I really love how you kind of market it as like empowerment shoots and stuff. Because like you said, like you don't have to be a model to take photos of yourself. And I think it is great that we have people like yourself to like normalize taking sexy photos, like looking hot, like maybe having a photo of yourself in underwear on your Instagram page or in a bikini, or God, if you don't want to post it, you can just have it on your computer, like maybe send it to your partner, or like who knows, or just have it for yourself. Like,
Yeah.
every time I do a shoot, people are always like, or not everyone says this, but a lot of people who not like on our kind of mind level, they're like, why are you doing a shoot? Like for my mom, for example, she's always like, what's this photo shoot for? I'm like, Mom, my whole business is online. Like, I need content.
Yes, no, I completely understand. I had people say the same thing to me. I'm like, I don't know. I don't need a reason. Like, yeah. And you don't. You honestly, you don't need a reason to do a photo shoot. If you just want to sell, I find as well, like you can really look back and just remember that time in your life as well. So especially if you've just like gone through something, or you feel like you've evolved, or you're in a new phase of your life, like celebrate with a photo shoot and like capture that energy. You'll look back on it in years to come and be like, oh, you can just see the essence of you, of like where you were at in that time in your life. I'm a very sentimental person. I love photos and I love memories.
Yeah.
So for me, it's huge, but yeah.
Yeah, and I love that, and I love this that you said that the energy, like you catching like what you were going through at that time, because I think a lot of people think that if you want to do a photo shoot, you need to go on a diet, you need to be restricted your food, it needs to be a celebration of how lean or how muscle you've gotten, and it so doesn't have to be like that. And it is nice that we're starting to see a lot of people now, you know, taking photos in their off season or whatever, but just like normalizing taking photos of yourself in your body, like what you look like 90% of the time.
100%. Yes, I love that.
Yeah, like the last photo shoot I did with you, I remember like the day before I'd gone to one of the Italian restaurants in Bondi and eaten like a 3-course meal. I had tiramisu, pasta, like focaccia.
Yes.
Like this is
What
what it looks like. Yeah, like I'm not gonna starve myself for a photo shoot. There's no way. Like I'm doing it because I'm gonna show off what I look like right now. And God, if I would have dieted for 2 weeks, I would be lying.
Yeah, 100%. And it can be so incredibly healing. Oof, the lightning is really.
Oh shit!
I don't know if you can hear that or not.
No.
Yeah, it can be so incredibly healing doing a photo shoot when you haven't dieted or prepared for it, and just celebrating your body as it is, because why not? So you should.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like, especially if you're working with the right photographer, I feel like you can really get some angles where you can see like having extra curves is fucking sexy, but it can also be like, I did a photo shoot when I was a bit heavier with a photographer who didn't really know what he was doing, and I hate every single one of those photos. Like I just awkward, and like the angles are shit, and just like the lighting is shit, and like not to say like we are all beautiful in our own ways in like all angles and lights or whatever, but it's just not nice to see yourself looking in a way that I don't know how to describe it, but like you don't feel happy with yourself in those photos because you know that you are so much prettier, like you can look so much better.
And you photo shoot because you want to look at the photos and feel good, and of course angles and lighting play a part of that, and you want to feel glamorous and capture the good angles and stuff. So yeah, I've had a similar experience as well. Yeah.
And especially when the lighting is like, if there's really unflattering lighting, even the fittest, most shredded person in the world is going to look like they like the worst kind of version of themselves. And like, fuck, if it's taking photos, like you want to really enhance the stuff that you're proud of your body.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I obviously love your photography business, and I'm so excited that you're now going to start becoming an online coach as well. May I ask how long you have left on your studies?
Not very long, so I should be finished very soon. Yes, within the next couple of months for sure.
That is so exciting. Have you thought about like what kind of people that you want to work with, or what kind of what kind of direction you're going to take your business?
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I think about, I think, all the time, every day. Yeah, so definitely women. I feel like I've known for a really long time that that was my goal, to help women, empower women. So that's the vibe. And yeah, so I'm about to finish my nutrition studies and then start up my Master Female Trainer studies with the Women's Fitness Academy, which is super exciting. Again, just feeds into women's health, and just a really holistic approach. Like I believe in a really balanced, like mind, body, soul approach. So it not just being about the food or the training, being, because it's never really about the food or the training, you know, there's so much more to it than that. So really coming at it from like that holistic approach, really empowering, balanced approach too.
Yes, I love that so much. And yeah, I think definitely think you're going to have loads of success with this. Is it all going to be online, or do you want to like go in gyms stuff as well?
No, yeah, it'll just all be online for now. From now anyway, yeah. All online.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So you used to live in Newcastle, but now you moved to Sydney. What
Yeah.
was that like? What do you, because you moved there completely on your own, right?
Yes, I have. So this is my, I guess, like second take at Sydney. I did move here a couple of years ago, kind of on a whim. It was like a very fast made decision, which was awesome, but it was quite short-lived because I had to come home during COVID.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of back. I always like to think just to kind of finish off what I started. And yeah, it's been amazing. I love Bondi. I love your place.
It's gonna be yours soon.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I guess the whole reason I wanted to move in the beginning was just to just experience a new place, to grow. And yeah, I feel like it definitely really helped me on that, especially the first time was quite tough, moving by myself, not knowing anyone. So yeah, that was kind of scary. That was really tough. But this time around, it's been a lot more cruisy.
What do you think's been the biggest difference in these two times?
I definitely think like where I'm at internally, like the first time I came here, I was going through a lot of stuff, trying to heal myself. So yeah, it was incredibly difficult. I feel like I just picked myself up out of like really stressful situation and then came to Sydney all by myself, didn't know anybody. Literally I had no money, no nothing. I just packed all my stuff in my car and just came here and was like, I trust the universe and it's all going to work out. And it was one of the best things I ever did because it really helped me find like my spirituality as well, learning how to, yeah, just trust, surrender. And in the end, it was such a beautiful experience, which is hence the reason I had to come back. I was like, I need to finish what I started here. There's something about Sydney I just love.
Yeah, and especially Bondi, there's just so many, like it really is like the fittest hub of maybe not the world, but like definitely up there. And it's just so many, first of all, good looking people everywhere.
Yeah, true.
Like people say here in Bali, they're like, wow, everyone's so good looking. And I'm like, have you been to the eastern suburbs in Sydney? Like that
Yeah.
is literally, there's not a person there that's not like could be at the cover of a fitness magazine.
So true. And I feel like the energy is quite contagious here. Like, because there's just so many people like really committed to like working on themselves, just the energy in the area. It's like a portal, right? Like I feel like I've been able to achieve so much faster when I'm here than I would maybe somewhere else, which is really cool. Really cool to be in that energy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like I definitely miss that sometimes.
Yeah.
It's such a cool place to live for sure, and there's so many opportunities everywhere. So I'm really glad that you did take that step and came back. What has been like the biggest struggle with moving to a completely new city, like all by yourself, not knowing anyone?
Ooh, the biggest struggle. I guess it can be a little bit lonely sometimes. I've made some beautiful friends here now, which is awesome. And where I'm from, Newcastle is a short, 2-hour drive away. So I can always go home and visit my partner and my mom and stuff. But yeah, I think it really teaches you so much how to like be okay with being on your own, being with yourself. And just deepens that relationship that you can have with yourself, taking yourself out of your comfort zone. And when you're away from your hometown and distractions and stuff, you really get to decide like who you want to be, how you want to live, what you want your life to be like, and kind of recreate that. I think a change in environment is like the best thing ever for like starting a new routine or, changing things up and deciding what you want to do. Yes, that's been really helpful for me as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you ever feel like people were like questioning your decision to move, or like saying that you shouldn't do it, or?
Yeah, definitely. Especially the first time I came, there was a lot of people that were like, why would you want to move to Sydney? It's so busy. I was just like, I just know I need to go. Like, I know that, there's just something there for me. I don't know what it is yet, but I know it's there and I know it's in Sydney. And I'm so glad I listened to that. And like I said, as much as it was incredibly difficult the first time, it really helped me connect in with myself and learn more about myself. So, I'm glad I followed that feeling and I came here.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people who do like take that step and move to a completely new place on their own, they're gonna experience that feeling of being overwhelmed and feeling lonely and feeling stressed. And like, even for me, when I first moved here, I was like, fuck, did I make the right decision? Like, I feel so stressed right now. Like, I just like having constant FOMO of like not being in Bondi or not being here and not being in Sweden. Like, it's like torn between all these places. What did you do to overcome this like stress and feeling lonely and like having all that anxiety?
Yeah, I think what you just said as well about the FOMO, especially the first time I moved here, I keep referring back to that because this time just feels like kind of coming back. The first time was really like, oof, I've moved to a new city. But I felt like, I guess before I left, I was saying goodbye and seeing people. And then when I arrived here, that kind of all just stopped. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm here now and I'm by myself. And I think, held on a lot to my old life in Newcastle and struggled to let go of that. So I think it was just deciding that, I came here for a reason and I really want to make this work, and just leaning in, like, even when it's uncomfortable, leaning into, that was my theme of the year, to lean in. So leaning into new experiences, like leaning into like meeting new people, exploring new places, and just, I guess, leaning out of really investing your energy in like wanting to go back and wanting to find out what people at home are doing, and just, embracing this new life that you have, and just, saying yes to things, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. And like, if you have just moved somewhere and you are going through all these feels, like, just know that every feeling is temporary. Like, there's no feeling that's gonna last forever. So even if you are struggling right now, like, that's freaking normal. That's a part of why that's happened for everyone basically who moves from a familiar place to a new place. And when you kind of finding your feet and you're finding your friend group and finding like your routine, like, it is scary. It is really overwhelming. So whatever is like feeling that, it's completely normal.
And just be like kind to yourself. I think I remember when I first came here, I was like, okay, so I'm in Sydney now, so I need to do this and I need to do this and everything needs to be perfect. And I was like, whoa. I look back and I'm like, babe, chill out, please. Like, you've just got here. Like, I could just, if, when you do move to a new place, encourage people to just be so kind and gentle with yourself. You're adjusting to a new environment, new everything. So, take advantage of building new routines, but don't just like focus so much on that. Be kind and let yourself feel the feels, and just, let yourself settle energetically into where you are.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Are you still doing a lot of photography stuff in Sydney?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I am always open to doing shoots whenever anyone's keen. So, yeah.
What would be like if like someone who's never done a photo shoot before, and I'm sure like God, when I first did my first one, I was so nervous. Like I was literally like YouTubing what to do before a photo shoot, like what poses should I do, what should I wear, what should I bring? Like, do you have any tips for the listeners who are maybe in the like line up to doing their first shoot?
Yeah, definitely. I would look through like Pinterest and stuff at photo shoot photos to get ideas. Um, it's really good to look at before you start, even because like I know when I've done photo shoots, I've done this, and then in the moment you just kind of forget, which is why it's really important to do the shoot with someone who is gonna direct you and is gonna be there to kind of support you through the whole process. But yeah, definitely Pinterest, look at like ideas and inspiration, show it to the photographer as well. Be like, I love this vibe, this is kind of what I want to create. Make sure your outfits, you just freaking are obsessed with them, you love them, you feel sexy in them. Buy yourself something new if you can. And then yeah, practice in front of the mirror as well is a good one. Just like, or even like set up a camera or something so you can get some different poses and ideas. um yeah, and just trusting yourself and just having fun with it. I mean, it's scary because it's something new and you haven't done it before. Just like me doing this right now, I haven't done a podcast before. It was scary because, my brain can't, oh, I've never done it before. It's like
Yeah.
a photo, it's like anything new. Of course, it's going to be scary. But once you start, you just be like, oh, this is chill. This is awesome. And you'll have fun in the end, of course.
Yeah, definitely. And like, don't choose your best outfit first.
Oh yeah,
First
no, definitely not. Definitely not. So you like love all your outfits, but the one you love the least, maybe put on first.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. Because the first, like, it's like making pancakes, right? The first one is always a bit like,
yeah. It takes time to get in like your little model groove. So
yeah, definitely. And something that I also kind of learned when I was doing it, that I had looked like all of these like fitness models pages, and I'm like, oh my God, those posts are so cool and stuff. And then when I did them, I looked nothing like them. And I remember at first I was so disappointed because I was like, oh, I don't look like as good as them. I'm not as shredded. Like my ass doesn't stick out as much as hers. So like you can still do these poses, but make them your own. Like it's your body, and if you have a good photographer, they should be able to capture your body at the most flattering angles for you. Because what looks good on, I don't know, Lauren Simpson is probably not going to look good on you if you have a completely different body.
100%. Yeah. And it's an opportunity, to just make it your own. As you go through the shoot, you'll kind of find your groove and, find poses that like look good for you and feel good. Because, if it was me, I'd be showing you the camera the whole time anyway. So you'd be getting like kind of an idea of what looks like what. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So for the future, like what are your plans? Are you gonna do any more courses? Because I remember you talked about like you're a pretty spiritual person. Is this something that you would like to bring into your coaching?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I of course try to incorporate, like I said, like holistic approach into everything I do, and just thinking about that, especially when I take on clients. In the future, once I complete the studies I'm doing now, I definitely want to look into some counseling. So doing my counseling studies, and then leaning more into that side of things as well, and just having kind of the works then. So like the counseling, nutrition, training, completely like holistic transformation.
Yeah, for sure. Is counseling something that you've done yourself?
As in
like you've gone to see like a counselor or?
Yeah, definitely. I've been seeing a psychologist for a little while now. And I have a coach as well. So yeah, it's something that I value a lot for me, and it's been so helpful for me having that support as well. So counseling is definitely something that I think is super valuable, and it's helped me get through so many different things. So I definitely want to be able to bring that to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's so it's so cool how we're seeing like the world kind of changes now, because like a few years ago, like especially I think before COVID, it was very like you only really see a therapist or a counselor or a psychologist or a coach or whatever if you have a problem, like if you have depression or if you're going through a breakup or like anything like, I don't know, abuse or whatever. But now it's like we all have our demons, right? We all have like shadows and have inner childs to heal. And I think it's so cool that it's becoming so much more normalized. It's almost like you don't have a coach, like you don't have a therapist.
100%. I think it's awesome. Like, yeah, seeing this shift of people just really start to value their inner world and like want to dig deeper into that, I think is, yeah, so awesome. So needed for the world too. Like you said, we all have things that, you know, we've been through that maybe show up in different ways that we aren't aware of. So it's so good to be able to like come back to yourself and look at those things.
Yeah. Oh God, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's especially with, like you said something earlier about how it's not just about nutrition and training, like the reason people get a coach. And it's so true. And I think more people in our industry need to understand that you can't really, like you can only help someone so far with only giving nutrition and training advice. Because once you've kind of like, you can lose all the weight or you can gain the muscle or whatever, but you're not actually going to keep the sustainable results unless you actually work on what got you there in the first place.
Yes, 1000%. Yeah. That's why I definitely want to get into counseling and stuff. Because yeah, like I said, it's never really about the food. It's about, you know, everything else that kind of comes with it.
Absolutely. And especially now with social media and what was the thing called that you said before?
Tumblr? Oh my God, Tumblr.
Like when I was growing up, it was just like the magazines, like, you know, Cosmopolitan and whatever all they were called. So like, you know, you could go to the shops and you'd see them and you'd see like all these like super senior celebrities and how to lose weight and detox diets and everyone looking photoshopped them like perfect. And but then you can go home and you can kind of forget about it. But now it follows you around everywhere because we just live with the phone in our hands. And every time you open up Instagram, there's another super fit person there who's edited their photos or the best angles or the best lighting and the best clothes and the best photographer. And we just constantly remind ourselves of everything that we don't have. I think it can get so toxic if you don't, like if you're not aware that you're doing it, and if you're not aware, like if you don't have the coping mechanisms to understand and remind yourself that that's not real life.
100%. Yeah, especially with Instagram now. I feel like it can be such a good tool to connect with people, but it can become so toxic so quickly. Yeah, definitely assessing your relationship with your phone, how much time you're spending on it.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's definitely good for a lot of ways, and especially like for you girls who are studying with us, I definitely would encourage like to reach out to other people studying and, you know, connect, like collaborate, do masterclasses together, do challenges together, do like jump on each other's lives and stuff, because it's such a good way to build a network.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
It's not just about it is a lot of toxicity out there as well, but it's also on you. Like you can always unfollow people. And of course, like, you know, sometimes you get the random sponsored ads or like you might like this post and it's like, no, you can't really help that. But you can just, at least you can make a decision for most of the time, right?
I find I always get really shocked when I see something that's like super far the other way of like the industry that I completely disagree with. I think my phone knows me very well. I see something that like is just super on the other end and I'm like, oh my God, people post things like this, and I'm just like, oh, maybe I'm just not seeing it because, you know, the accounts that I follow are like accounts like yours and, you know, the National Women's Fitness Academy that are, you know, that positive healthy, balanced approach. And then I see something completely other side. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, 100% same. Like I got something the other day. It was like juice cleanse, like detox your body. And I was like, what the fuck?
No.
Like people still believe this stuff. Like it was just, it's crazy. You become so, when you actually really like go through and sort through your following, it's like when something like that comes up, you're like, whoa.
Whoa, where did it come from? Is this the thing?
Yeah. Oh God. Well, Lauren, it's been so nice to talk to you, and good luck with all your studies. So excited that you're almost done, and I'm sure I'll be seeing it all over your page when you are. I'll probably see you in April anyway when I come back to Sydney for a little tiny bit. But if the listeners want to like book you for a shoot or follow you or reach out to you in any way, where should they go?
Yeah, so just on Instagram, so photography, it's just Lauren Hugginson photography, and then my main page will be there as well. It's just Lauren Hugginson. So always up for a chat, or anything on there. And coaching will be coming very soon.
I'm so excited for that. I know you're gonna kill it. Well, thank you so much again for jumping on. And guys, you know the drill by now. If you liked this episode, make sure you do take a screenshot, you tag myself, you tag Lauren, and you tag Women's Fitness Academy, and let us know your thoughts. We love connecting with you guys. And hope you all have a beautiful day, and make sure you reach out to Lauren for any photography needs.